We have now learned the factual premise that the Lakers can win without LeBron James. So if you're the guy that was staging your own personal holdout, which I believe he was, and it backfires because the Lakers are 7-2, now you've got no choice but to really double down on the sciatica.
The Craig Carton Show, only on SportsGrid.
If Jacoby Brissett was playing bad football for the past 3 weeks, Kyler Murray will be fully healthy, ready to go. Can't wait to get him on the field at Seattle and try to resurrect our season. Now you have Jacoby Brissett playing really good football. Putting Kyler Murray back in right now because he wasn't playing good football doesn't make any sense. The perfect storm here for Arizona. Hey, Kyler, going on IR takes the pressure off you. And Jacoby, you deserve the start. Go ahead and start, kid.
The Early Line, only on SportsGrid.
Sauce Gardner heading over to the Indianapolis Colts as they go all in on this season and beyond. As I think a lot of people have been noting, that move does not just say, hey, we like what we have this year. It says we like what we have moving forward, and that includes Daniel Jones as their starting quarterback for Dallas. What does that decision to bring in Quinnen Williams say? That means they're poorly ran, but we already knew that.
Game time decisions, only on SportsGrid.
And the amazing thing you're going to say about Tom Izzo for the jump is, Tom Izzo don't duck anybody. You want to hear who they have to play preseason? Kentucky, Duke, UNC, and Arkansas. This is not the Jimmy Boeheim Don't Leave New York Carrier Dome Classic. This guy plays people.
College basketball today, only.
Hello and welcome to Game Time Decisions on a Thursday night on SportsGrid. We are excited to have you here for some Thursday night football. Kevin Walsh with you live from the Decisions desk as tonight we are in Houston. I'm in New Jersey, but you get it. Texans, Bills. It's a 5.5-point number everywhere you look. Total coming up a little bit, 43.5. These are gone, 44.5 now. Your primary number in the market for this total tonight. What is at stake for these two football teams? All related to the postseason, and a shout-out to Houston for allowing that to be true for not only the Buffalo Bills. The Texans have found themselves not just 5-5, the first team out of the playoffs, yes, right now on tiebreakers, ahead of the Kansas City Chiefs and Baltimore Ravens. A win here for Houston would go a long way. They have a gauntlet of an X3. This will be followed by at Indianapolis and at Kansas City. Things get a little bit easier down the Final Four, perhaps, if this Texans team can get C.J. Stroud back tonight. For the Bills, they look to keep pace with Drake May and the New England Patriots as the Buffalo Bills at 7-3 are one game back in the loss column, and they really are, you could argue, two fullback. And not as much as because the head-to-head, that is a huge part of it, but one of Buffalo's other losses being in division. That loss to Miami does loom large. The spotlight tonight is put on Josh Allen. Josh Allen coming off of arguably his best game of the season. Statistically, it's one of the most gaudy games of his career. 317 passing yards, 3 passing touchdowns, 40 rushing yards on the ground with another 3 touchdowns. 6 total scores. It gives him the league lead at 28 total touchdowns entering this week. And if you missed it earlier this week during a Kevin 7 awards bets that I placed this week, Josh Allen to win league MVP is one of those at plus 550. That number out there actually on ESPN. Bet other books right now with Josh under that 5-1 marker. For Allen, a lot of it will come down to chasing Drake May? Well, Josh may get a little help this Sunday from an old rival as Joe Burrow is continuing to trend towards playing. It almost seems as if now the Cincinnati Bengals will be hit with Baltimore Ravens level fines if we do not see Joe Burrow under center against the New England Patriots. This number, 8.5, before the news dropped that Burrow would play, we are seeing it as low as 5.5 now. It shows you the books firmly believe Burrow will be the quarterback for Cincinnati. Do keep in mind that Joe Burrow will be without Jamar Chase if he is back. Chase suspended because he spit on Jalen Ramsey. He tried to say he didn't. Video said otherwise. And for Cincinnati, if you are going to make this Burrow return worth it at all, hard to say you don't need to win this Sunday in New England. Some of you will remember my preseason Super Bowl pick, the Cincinnati Bengals, and the frustration of that is not, oh, I'm embarrassed they're 3-7. I'm embarrassed about nothing. Their franchise quarterback was injured a game and a half into the season. I am frustrated that Joe Burrow is coming back to a 3-7 team and not a 5-5 team. A Cincinnati team who managed to lose a game to the Jets that they were 97.5 in-game win expectancy in the fourth quarter. A team that was nearly 90% in-game win expectancy with less than a minute left against the Chicago Bears and lost both of those games. On top of that, they allowed Jake Browning to go out there for way too long, and they have potentially made this Burrow return, albeit incredible, perhaps not all that impactful to the league overall. Now, where might you be getting involved tonight? If not, Texans, Bills. The college basketball board is actually off and running already. We're in the Bahamas. It's not the main tournament yet. That is actually going to come, if you look at it, next week. There's some futures there. It is the Playa Era Festival, where it looks like a lot of the top teams have migrated to. I wonder if there is, and interestingly enough, actually, I think our next guest may have a thing or two to say about this. I wonder if there is not as much interest anymore in going to Maui. I wonder if they, find that to not be as interesting, or the Bahamas, because the Maui Invitational is still going on. Names aren't as big. We're in the Bahamas right now with Purdue and Memphis. Again, it's not as gaudy. You've got Texas Tech, Wake Forest still to come. Houston, the number 2 team in the country, late night, late 40.5 against Ryder out of the MAC. St. John's is in action in about 30 minutes' time up against Bucknell if you are looking to bet the college basketball board tonight. NBA slate has a couple of offerings, an interesting slate as always. Philly on a back-to-back is going to get booked as a favorite in Milwaukee. No Giannis Antetokounmpo, as the Giannis MVP ticket takes an early season knock. And I actually am, again, as someone who bet Giannis to win MVP, I am understanding if you say is now out of the race to win the award. Giannis is going to miss a week or two. It's going to put him up against it from a games minimum perspective. Record-wise, Milwaukee isn't going to be within earshot of any of the best teams in basketball, specifically the Thunder, the Nuggets, the Lakers, which is where that top 3 of Shea, Jokic, and Luka are right now. Other spots in the NBA tonight, Orlando is hosting the struggling LA Clippers, who enter this game 4-10. If it wasn't NFL season, the conversations around the Clippers right now would be loud, but it's NFL season, so relatively speaking, no one cares. But what a mess that the Clippers are 4-10. The 4-11 Grizzlies against the 3-12 Kings, who found out Sabonis is going to be out 3 to 4 weeks. Let me just say this quickly. As someone who took a couple of chances in the win total market for the NBA and some teams beating expectations, I knew this with the Pacers early. Maybe it's true with the Kings. we may get unmatched levels of tanking this year. With the hype around this college basketball freshman crop, Cam Boozer, Darren Peterson, AJ Dybonsa as a big three, that then expands down to Koa Pete, Mikal Brown, Caleb Wilson, Nate Ament. I mean, that is a top 7 who are all going to be getting, all-star conversations in terms of their expectations. The tanking in the NBA may just be nightmarish, and that's just where we are. Elsewhere on this slate tonight, the NHL has a few games, actually a louder slate than I realized. The Avs, who are right now staking claim as the best team in the league, are a home favorite against the New York Rangers. Edmonton on the ice again. I feel like the Oilers play every single night. I don't think they do 3 in a row in the NHL, but it certainly feels like I've seen Edmonton on this card each day this week. The Maple Leafs against the recently labeled most irrelevant, I think, pro franchise, Columbus Blue Jackets. Columbus is a road favorite, actually, against Toronto, so not a great look for the Maple Leafs. College football, pardon me, college football, one game here, Arkansas State and Louisiana out of the Sun Belt. Arkansas State going to be a 2.5-point favorite there. We've got our guy Donnie right side waiting for us. Get involved with a good one, we think. Bills Texans, that's next, right here on Game Time Decisions.
Ashton Genty has been hit behind the line of scrimmage more than any player in the National Football League. Yep. So you just gave him the ball in the end zone. Do the math. How's that going to work out?
It's like what I said earlier.
He got hit behind the line of scrimmage. He got tackled in the end zone.
Yeah.
Oh, they're terrible. But the thing is, Brady, you draft offensive linemen before you draft a star running back. Like they went backwards.
In-game live, only on SportsGrid.
When I think of the European tour, these are the players I'm thinking of, right? So I understand why that they would be so frustrated by all this, but they also know that there are rules in place that, from a competitive standpoint, that if you're a member of this tour, like, you can't go join a rival tour. Like, there's rules in place, just like in any other business.
The Smiley Show, only on SportsGrid.
The Green Bay area and the Philadelphia area, you would get it on ABC normally.
Yes.
But they didn't have ABC, so they couldn't get it locally.
Yeah, it just, you have to ask the question, like, nobody wants to hear from Bob Iger during the Monday night game when 10 million people are blacked out from watching the game, and you not ask him about when the blackout's going to end.
The Craig Carton Show, only on SportsGrid.
The 35 cents, though, for yes on Ohio State.
Yeah.
I like that, Donnie. I think there's value in that right now because we only got, 3 weeks left to go. Then we'll have conference championships. Yeah, the more they keep winning, and they will win, the more that will increase, and that's a pretty good return on an investment there with Kalshi.
The Early Line, only on SportsGrid.
It is a Thursday night. It is Game Time Decisions. We are joined by the Early Lines, Donnie Rightside. You can catch him Monday through Friday here on the morning on SportsGrid. DRS, I want to start a little off the beaten path. I think you'll allow me. The early season college basketball tournaments, usually Bahamas, Maui. This year, the big one in Vegas. Does Donnie Rightside have a theory as to why the Bahamas and the Maui, invite all of a sudden not as enticing to these top programs?
No, usually they're the best, most enticing ones because you used to. Now, here's the issue, Kevin, that you have now. What was the draw? Hey, come to Duke. We play in the Maui Classic. How great is that? You can't get any money, but you'll go to Maui. These dudes are getting $4, $5, $6, $7, $8 million. Like, they can take their whole families to Maui whenever they want at this point. Maybe it's just not so prestigious, but I don't know the reason why one tournament is better than the other one right now, or Vegas is just the best destination.
Yeah, because I'm watching, Donnie. Purdue is in this Bahamas tournament. I feel like, I'm not positive, I feel like they might be the defending champs, so they had to go. And everybody else is like, yeah, well, you're going to be going by yourself because we're not showing up. So have fun and enjoy. But we're all going to go to Vegas. Vegas tonight, DRS. I am sure we'll be taking a number of bets here on Buffalo. This number's come down a bounce, though, from 6s to pretty much 5.5 everywhere. What do you make of this number here tonight between Josh Allen going up against the backup quarterback in Davis Mills?
Yeah, we think Buffalo's going to win, right? We also thought that Buffalo probably go down to Miami and handle the business, and they got spanked. Now, different circumstances, we get that. And also, sometimes those sandwich games, big win over Kansas City, you go play Miami, ooh, tough division game on the road, you end up losing that game. You come home, emotional win against Tampa Bay in the, bad conditions and the wind and the cold weather. They drop 44 points, and then you go on the road and you say, what are we going to get tonight? The one thing you do know, that's a really good defense for the Texans. The one thing I look at in this game is explosive plays, Kevin. I don't think we get a lot of them. I don't like the wide receiver position for the Buffalo Bills. That's an elite defense on the other side that should keep Josh Allen in the pocket. I don't know how much Cook is going to be able to run in the backfield, but also understand this. We talk from a backup quarterback perspective here on the Houston Texans. He's got 2 games under his belt this season. He has multiple games in his career that he started, so I don't think it's one of those deer in the headlights. You should be able to cook this guy like you might be looking at Shedeur Sanders a little bit later this weekend against a really good defense for Cleveland. I don't see explosive plays tonight. I do see the Bills winning the game, but I stayed away from the side. I do think this game actually stays under the total. That buy up here from 43.5 to 44.5 really doesn't make sense to me. I just don't see explosive on both sides. I see if you're the Buffalo Bills winning, get out of town, 23-20 type of game for me for the Buffalo Bills coming away with a victory.
What's interesting, though, Donnie, is that, and I'm looking now, it looks like this is still moving here. Minus 110s becoming minus 105s. One book's hanging a 4.5 on Houston.
Yeah,
so, it looks like we've got a lot of, Texans believers in the market. But I don't know, DRS. That's a lot of faith in Davis Mills to me. I'm not saying there aren't game scripts where he can't put up some numbers, but this is a Texans team that did not cover against the Tennessee Titans. The Titans are one of the worst teams we've ever seen. I mean, honestly, ever. Cam Ward, like DRS, I know we don't want to hold it against him. Cam Ward's been the worst quarterback in football this year. Like, he is very lucky that he is the least discussed number 1 overall pick ever, because if we were talking about him, we wouldn't have a lot of good things to say.
No, you wouldn't have any good things to say, but also I think he's getting one of those, what's the kid supposed to do? That franchise is horrible. He's lucky he's still upright in the pocket. No wide receivers, barely a running game. Nobody knows what they're doing in the front office. Bad offensive coaches here, fired coaches during the season. He's sort of getting one of those passes so they get another team in there. But also, from that game like last week, like you're right about it. Still road game, hard to win. The Thursday night games are the toughest, man. When you have to travel, 1,000 miles to get ready, if you are the Buffalo Bills, you're better tonight. You have the best player probably in the NFL who dropped the 6-pack last week, Kevin. 3 touchdown passes, 3 rushes here. Like, if I look at the Buffalo Bills offense, you say, who's scoring a touchdown? Of course, the favorite in the clubhouse is Josh Allen, and he's probably going to score. If Allen just has a decent game, yeah, they're supposed to win this one. But I do find it interesting. You're right. We were peaking up there, some 6.5s peaking through, and now you see like Bet365 at 4.5 right now. It's interesting that money's coming back, but you're right. Hey, money's coming back on Davis Mills in this offense. Like, yeah, we love Nico. Some of the wide receivers are decent. I still don't trust Woody in the backfield at this point, so you should get a win for Buffalo as long as they take care of business.
Donnie, and maybe I'm bringing this up too close to a break. We've got Donnie with us in our next segment, so we could expand if I am. One thing Buffalo needs is some help, though, catching New England, right? They don't control their own destiny in that race. If each team wins out, except Buffalo gets the head-to-head, New England's going to win the division due to division record. They may get some help, though, from Cincinnati. Joe Burrow, full practice, on his way back. I'm pretty surprised by this. I'm curious what you make of it.
I don't like the move at all because normally it's like, yeah, well, he's back. He's ready to go. Also, Jamar Chase isn't in. You're not complete at this point. Your expectations are you got to probably score 40 points to beat anybody because that historically bad defense. look, let him get in this week. Let him get comfortable. He's your franchise guy. Your franchise wideout isn't there. Just sit him one more week. And there's other quarterbacks that we'll probably talk about too, like the New York Giants been making the stupidest move you could possibly make by bringing their young quarterback. But I don't know if it makes that big of a difference because the issue with Cincinnati is not the quarterback. It's the defense. Joe Burrow doesn't play quarterback, Kevin.
Yeah, so that is another very interesting piece of this whole thing. Chase isn't out there and available. I just don't know how. I want to, Doc DRS did not expect Burrow potentially to be back at any point this year. And he's talked about, that. And listen, again, he's not the one in there actually doing the evaluating. I bring that up to say this. It's not that he's just beating the expectations of Doc. He beat the expectations of the Bengals by almost a month. The initial diagnosis, which felt optimistic, was, hey, listen, 4 months, 3 months, week 15, which brings us back to the same point as always. This incredibly, terribly ran team. How did they let Browning play for this long if Joe Burrow was this close, Donnie? It's not even Thanksgiving, and he's going to play Sunday.
No, it's just really bad all the way around. But that's the Cincinnati Bengals. And you're right. He came back and beat the odds. This was supposed to be, hey, play 500 football. We'll see Joe in December. You should have played 500 football and get him back now. There would be expectations and people playing them down the line would be, oh, no, he's back already? That was supposed to be an easy victory.
Absolutely crazy. We got a lot more to get to with our guy, Donnie Rightside, after the break on SportsGrid.
Ashton Genty has been hit behind the line of scrimmage more than any player in the National Football League. Yep. So you just gave him the ball in the end zone. Do the math. How's that going to work out?
It's like what I said earlier.
He got hit behind the line of scrimmage. He got tackled in the end zone.
Yeah.
Oh, they're terrible. But the thing is, Brady, you draft offensive linemen before you draft a star running back. Like they went backwards.
In-game live, only on SportsGrid.
When I think of the European tour, these are the players I'm thinking of, right? So I understand why that they would be so frustrated by all this, but they also know that there are rules in place that, from a competitive standpoint, that if you're a member of this tour, you can't go join a rival tour. There's rules in place, just like in any other business.
The Smiley Show, only on SportsGrid.
The Green Bay area and the Philadelphia area, you would get on ABC normally.
Yes.
But they didn't have ABC, so they couldn't get it locally.
Yeah, it just, you have to ask the question, nobody wants to hear from Bob Iger during the Monday night game when 10 million people are blacked out from watching the game, and you not ask him about when the blackout's going to end.
The Craig Carton Show, only on SportsGrid.
The 35 cents, though, for yes on Ohio State.
Yeah.
I like that, Donnie. I think there's value in that right now because we only got, 3 weeks left to go. Then we'll have conference championships. Yeah, the more they keep winning, and they will win, the more that will increase, and that's a pretty good return on an investment there with Kalshi.
The Early Line, only on SportsGrid.
All right, it is Game Time Decisions here with you on a Thursday night. We're also joined by Donnie Rightside. You can catch DRS not only on the Early Line, but, of course, SportsGrid's college football today, every Saturday with Joe Lisi. I will say, Donnie, it was a big Saturday for your Notre Dame takes, who I'm pretty sure you accidentally left out of your committee stance of letting in 3 Big Ten teams and the rest SEC. I think you meant to say Notre Dame as well, so we'll let that slip. I want to present you something and see if I can, sell me something, if you will, Donnie. So we talked about awards bets to make. and I was going through the Heisman odds. And I don't think Jeremiah Love can win the Heisman. I don't think it's on the board. I think playing Stanford and Syracuse in your final two, no conference championship game is going to be really difficult. So I think that'd be a bad bet. But I think he's going to chase it, Donnie, whether he can't or not. So my advice to people is not to bet him to win the Heisman. 2 touchdowns, 3 touchdowns, 150 rush receiving, 200 rush receiving, 150 on the ground. I think we ladder Jeremiah Love, DRS, in these games where Notre Dame's going to be a 30-point favorite in each of them likely.
Now you're talking my strategy. You know what we do, too? Usually every Saturday we have Coach Terry Bowden on. I ask him behind the scenes. I go, Coach, because he was talking about Damian Craig back in the 1990s. He said, when you have a player that you feel is in the Heisman, how do you call those plays as a coach? He flat out said it. Absolutely. I'll tell this kid, we're going to throw this ball all over the place. I want you to get 5 touchdowns this weekend because it looks good for you, it looks good for me, and it looks good for the program. When in the next year I tell another running back, you want to come to Notre Dame, you want to win a Heisman, you want to go crazy, I'm going to show you that. That is a great move because he's not going to win the Heisman, but you do understand the task at hand for Notre Dame as well. You have to blow the doors off the final 2 teams because you don't want Miami anywhere close to you at this point, and you have a bad football team this week. He might get one of those 4 touchdown days, not win the Heisman, but he needed that 4 touchdown day because you wanted to blow Syracuse out of the water.
Yeah, I really think we could see Jeremiah Love, DRS, have some of his biggest days of the season. Now, I also want to get some early NFL thoughts from you. There's a ton of interesting games, Donnie, heading into Thursday. But I want to ask you about what is now the new most important game of the season. I think last week's Denver-Kansas City was the most important game we had so far. And it put the Chiefs in a position now where if they lose to the Indianapolis Colts, I think they go to minus money to miss the postseason. But they are at home. They are favorites. And they are good. It is a lot to hand this team a 3rd consecutive loss. But the Indianapolis Colts, being off a bye, Donnie, feels like what looms largest. Their preparation and time to get ready for a game of this magnitude is sticking with me here a lot. What are you early seeing on between the Chiefs and the Colts?
Yeah, some angles I want to play in this game because it is interesting to me that, the Chiefs are at home, game on the line, or the season on the line, same thing as last week and almost the same spread that you're looking at now. Here's the problem. Daniel Jones popped up on the injury report today with a calf injury. He's a mobile quarterback. If he can't move around, that's going to hurt them. But also, very rare, Kevin, on the early line, we played a clip from Andy Reid giving a press interview this week that said, you guys aren't running the football. Andy never does this. He goes, yeah, we are. It's getting changed at the line. Maybe we call more hard runs this weekend where you can't actually get out of it. I look for the running game for Kansas City this week to be revved up and amped because the one thing I was angry at the most, having a money line ticket to close out a parlay on Kansas City, was you got to run the football against teams with good defenses that can get after the quarterback. They didn't do that last week. So I'm hearing Andy Reid saying, chirping his quarterback, which he never would do. Usually Andy Reid says, what, Kevin? I got to put my players in the best positions to win. That's on me. He was saying last week he was doing that, and you weren't getting that from Patrick Mahomes. Give me the running game for the Chiefs and ramp it up. Maybe a team total rushing prop here. Maybe a team total scoring on the ground for touchdowns. That's the key. But that 3.5 scares me because everybody should be taking the Colts at 3.5. No, Kevin?
Don't you think, Donnie, Kansas City is having a little bit of, I don't know what the reverse of buyer's remorse is, window shopping? If the deadline was tonight, don't you think they would meet whatever the Jets asked to get Breece Hall into that building?
I'm telling you, when I heard they were going after Breece Hall, and I said to myself, oh my goodness, they're on the verge of a juggernaut offense because they're just missing the explosive running back right now that he can hand the football to or throw a screen pass, which Andy Reid loves. You tell me they wouldn't give him a 4th-round pick for the guy to save their season and make a playoff or Super Bowl run? I can't believe that. That's crazy.
Yeah, it is. It is one of those things that, in the moment, people are like, we're the Chiefs. We don't have to worry about that. What's Breece Hall? And then it's like, wait a minute. Are we sure the deadline passed? Can the Jets cut him? Exactly. Can we pick him up on waivers? DRS, excellent as always. And by the way, Donnie has been talking about ways to back Shedeur Sanders. We're going to get into Shedeur with Matt Fontana after the break on SportsGrid.
Ashton Genty has been hit behind the line of scrimmage more than any player in the National Football League.
Yep.
So you just gave him the ball in the end zone. Do the math. How's that going to work out?
It's like what I
got
said
hit
earlier.
behind the line of scrimmage. He got tackled in the end zone.
Line. Yeah.
Oh, they're terrible. But the thing
No
is,
surprise.
Brady, you draft offensive linemen before you draft a star running back. Like they went backwards.
In-game live only on SportsGrid.
When I think of the European tour, these are the players I'm thinking of, right? So I understand why that they would be so frustrated by all this, but they also know that there are rules in place that, from a competitive standpoint, that if you're a member of this tour, like, you can't go join a rival tour. Like, there's rules in place, just like in any other business.
The Smiley Show, only on SportsGrid.
The Green Bay area and the Philadelphia area, you would get on ABC normally.
Yes.
But they didn't have ABC, so they couldn't get it locally.
Yeah, it just, you have to ask the question, like, nobody wants to hear from Bob Iger during the Monday night game when 10 million people are blacked out from watching the game, and you not ask him about when the blackout's going to end.
The Craig Carton Show, only on SportsGrid.
The 35 cents, though, for yes on Ohio State.
Yeah.
I like that, Donnie. I think there's value in that right now because we only got, 3 weeks left to go. Then we'll have conference championships. Yeah, the more they keep winning, and they will win, the more that will increase, and that's a pretty good return on an investment there with Kalshi.
The Early Line, only on SportsGrid.
We have been waiting a while for this one. One of my absolute favorites to talk to is Matt Fontana, host of the Matt Fontana Show. And I will tell you, I am always excited to talk to Matt. There have been a few occasions, though, the team's like, hey, should we hit up Matt? And I go, just wait, it's coming. And it's here, and it is here. Yeah. Because here's why, Matt. I don't want to hit you up, and it's like, listen, we have him on every week because we think next week's the Shador week. We've been waiting for this. I imagine the people in Cleveland have been waiting for this. I want to give it to you. You take me through the last couple of days here, him playing, the reaction to him playing, him getting the start, and everything going on around this team.
Well, first off, Kev, I'm available. You let me know when anytime, because every week the Browns have something new to talk about. That's the beauty of this team. But, it's been so weird because he plays Sunday and got, again, thrown in there, halftime. Dylan Gabriel gets hurt. We all saw the stats. He looked terrible. He looked absolutely horrible. And he was doing the same things at Colorado that everybody screamed you can't do in the NFL, giving up ground to avoid sacks and all those things. So he was not ready. They threw him in there. Okay, fine. So now what has this been? What has this week been like in Cleveland? It's been this is Johnny Manziel-esque. I'm not kidding. I'm not comparing Shador to Johnny Manziel, but just the fanfare around him, because you have one group of people that are so staunchly, this guy cannot play. He can't complete a pass. He doesn't deserve to be on an NFL field. That's one side. Then the other side are the Shador fans, he didn't get any practice reps, and he's playing behind a bad offensive line, and he's got no help in the receiving core, and Tommy Reese is calling plays. So it's like you either have a bunch of excuse makers that are Shador fans or people that want to be so right that he's not good, and you can somehow, watch a half of football and know for sure what he's going to be. It's just been them arguing with one another. And for some reason in my Twitter inbox too, like, go somewhere else. Like, I have people just screaming at me about where I'm at, because I'm like, I'm right here in the middle. I hope, listen, I'm a Browns fan. I hope he can play. I'd be stupid to sit here and say, oh, I hope he's not bad, because I need a quarterback. So I'm going to leave the door open that he's good. Now, am I sitting here thinking probably not? Yes. But I hope I'm wrong. I hope I'm wrong. God, I hope I'm wrong. But that's pretty much been the week. So it's been fun.
But it's so crazy, Matt, because I got to tell you, someone who I know I was hard on Dylan Gabriel. And I know some of that deep within me is I don't like how things have played out in terms of giving Shedeur a chance in Cleveland. Like them taking Gabriel over Shedeur and then still taking Shedeur. It just set everyone up for failure. I bring that up to say this. Cam Ward went first overall. He has been flatly the worst quarterback in football this year. And we can blame all of that on Tennessee we want. It's not a good look for Cam Ward and the promise that he's been this bad. So what I'm trying to get at is, at the end of the day, Dylan Gabriel's actually not had enough time to prove anyone fully right or fully wrong. And what that really means to me, Matt, is Shedeur has no chance. I tend to believe that if he doesn't look good against Vegas and they lose and they're dogs and Gabriel clears protocol, I think Gabriel gets the job back. I don't know you know much better than me. That's my read on the situation. And again, it seems bad for everybody involved.
It is, and I would not be shocked by that because they could sit there and say Dylan Gabriel was the starter. He got injured. He's not injured anymore. He goes back to being a starter because, Kevin, you know as well as I do, that's a dicey game to play when a coach starts pulling guys out, they get hurt, and they don't get their starting job back. Now, He's not some 8-year vested veteran that, you know, has a lot of respect in the locker room. He's a rookie. I get it. I just keep going back to Jimmy Haslam, the owner of the team, in training camp before any of this got going, said, we're going to see both of these rookies. You got a 6-game sample of Dylan Gabriel. Now Shedeur is in there. Why not leave Shedeur in there for a little while? And then you can always go back to Dylan Gabriel. What if it's good that Dylan sits down for a little bit and can kind of recalibrate things or kind of come back to the other side of it? I don't think it's the last time Dylan Gabriel is going to start a game, whether it is, to your point, whether it's next week or whether it's a few games down the road. I 100% agree that Dylan Gabriel is going to start for this team because you got to get that answer for sure. I mean, we all think the Browns are leaning towards a quarterback in the draft, which, you know, again, I'm not enamored with anybody in the draft right now. We'll see how that goes. But yeah, you got to give these guys time. And more importantly, I think you got to give them time to correct their own mistakes. Shedeur looked terrible in that half. Okay. You got this week, and I know I'm asking for a miracle here, but I'm going to ask you 3 games of practice, speed it up, stop taking bad sacks, learn to throw the football away, use the accuracy that everybody talked about in college, and go out there and see what you got. Like, yeah, Dylan Gabriel overcoming the height, I think, was always going to be the biggest issue, and that's remained my biggest issue with it. Shedeur's got the size. He's got the arm talent. You know, let's see if he can put it all together.
And I think for the one thing that maybe isn't unfair to ask Shedeur, have a better game than whatever Gabriel's best has been? Because again, Matt, you tell me. Minnesota, the Jets, I mean, the Steeler game he threw for 221, but it was on 52 attempts. Like, correct, pick your point. I think against Vegas, have a better game than that. That might be enough. But you hit at what is the thing that hangs over this whole situation. Cleveland got Jacksonville's first, which gives them at least extra ammunition, but their own first will have them in range to draft a quarterback. But all of a sudden, it's a nightmare of a class. It's not just Arch Manning, who may or may not have come out. Drew Aller was supposed to be a guy, torn ACL and didn't play well. Klubnik's supposed to be a guy, nightmare season. Nussmeier got benched, isn't healthy. Dante Moore people have started to prop up. I hear he's going back. There's Ty Simpson going back rumors. Who's coming out? The Sellers might go back, Matt.
Yeah, and it was crazy because, look, there were people, Lamar Sellers was the number 1 overall pick 4 months ago, right? Yeah. Everybody loved him. And, you know, it's funny because one of the mock drafts that came out, like Mendoza is going to be the number 1 quarterback. Am I really enamored with him? We'll see how it goes. But there was a mock that had the Browns taking Dante Moore. And I had somebody hit me up on social media, and they go, Matt, I am telling you, I'm a diehard Oregon fan. I've watched every game. He's not better than the guy he just replaced. He's not better than Dylan Gabriel. And I was like, oh, man, here we go. So, yeah, it's not a good situation. I could totally see the Browns just going, we're going to go try to trade for Mac Jones or go the Sam Darnold, Geno Smith bridge quarterback route and go take a receiver and an offensive lineman in the first round because they need that bad too. You know, and the thing is, you know, it was funny. I was just talking about this on my show this week too. Dylan Gabriel and Shedeur Sanders will factor into the Browns' future. One of them will. I don't know which one. You know, the ideas of them being a backup for the future, potential start, I don't know. But I know for a fact, they're gonna be here. Like, I don't think both of them are gonna get cut before next season. One of them will be around here, so there's still some reason to keep playing them. But yeah, the ultimate is, do we need to go draft a quarterback at this right now? That needle is slammed to the right. Yes, we'll see how the next couple weeks play out.
Let me just throw this your way, Matt. And again, we appreciate it as always, and we will certainly be checking in again, I am sure. I can't believe it, but Myles Garrett, despite being on a 2-win team, is going to actually end up becoming a unanimous DPOY. That's actually where I think we're headed. He's a big favorite, and I'm not sure he's a big enough favorite.
Yeah, and especially with those odds, it's just Micah that's even in kind of circle territory with him. And yeah, the Green Bay Packers are a good team, but he got off to a slow start. If it's the MVP, it's a completely different conversation. You got to be on a winning team to win that. But Defensive Player of the Year, he is very clearly the best defensive player in football. And if he goes out there and just keeps, I mean, even if he just averages a sack of game, he's going to blow it away. It's not even going to be, it's not even going to be a competition. They've helped him a lot this year with some of the additions on that D-line, drafting Mason Graham. Malik Collins had a great season. It's helped him a lot. But, yeah, I think at this point it's not even worth the juice to put money on him, but I'd be shocked. Injury's the only thing that'll keep it from him.
Yeah, it is what a year, what a talent. The only thing is he isn't allowed to be upset that they don't win games. And I think we could all, that's on him. Matt Fontana, we appreciate it as always. We've got Adam Kaplan, NFL Insider. Join us next. Should be a good one.
Ashton Genty has been hit behind the line of scrimmage more than any player in the National Football League. Yep. So you just gave him the ball in the end zone. Do the math. How's that going to work out?
It's like what I said earlier.
You got hit behind the line of scrimmage, you got tackled in the end zone.
Yeah.
Oh, they're terrible. But the thing is, Brady, you draft offensive linemen before you draft a star running back. Like they went backwards.
In-game live, only on SportsGrid.
When I think of the European tour, these are the players I'm thinking of, right? So I understand why that they would be so frustrated by all this, but they also know that there are rules in place that, from a competitive standpoint, that if you're a member of this tour, you can't go join a rival tour. There's rules in place, just like in any other business.
The Smiley Show, only on SportsGrid.
The Green Bay area and the Philadelphia area, you would get it on ABC normally.
Yes.
But they didn't have ABC, so they couldn't get it locally.
Yeah, it just, you have to ask the question, nobody wants to hear from Bob Iger during the Monday night game when 10 million people are blacked out from watching the game, and you not ask him about when the blackout's going to end.
The Craig Carden Show, only on SportsGrid.
The 35 cents, though, for yes on Ohio State.
Yeah.
I like that, Donnie. I think there's value in that right now because we only got, 3 weeks left to go. Then we'll have conference championships. Yeah, the more they keep winning, and they will win, the more that will increase, and that's a pretty good return on an investment there with Kalshi.
The Early Line, only on SportsGrid.
Game time decisions right here on SportsGrid. We've got Texans Bills coming up. We'll get to that more as our show goes on. But we are joined by NFL Insider Adam Kaplan. And Cap, you have fantastic roots in Philadelphia. Yeah. And you find yourself covering one of the most unique teams, I think, in recent memory. An 8-2, not only defending Super Bowl champion, current Super Bowl favorite, with a lot of chaos and conversation surrounding this team. And it's to the point now where it's not just online fodder everyone is being asked about it, so everyone is speaking about it. It's not just AJ. Yeah. It's Mailata, it's Sirianni, it's Hurts himself. So, Cap, what are you hearing today around the Philadelphia Eagles?
Kevin, I would tell you this, that no one with the Eagles, players, coaches, front office, are happy with the passing game. The passing game, despite what Hurts's numbers might show, and he's certainly been accurate, that's a fact, it's been mostly awful this season. It's just it's a scheme. From talking to people around the league who watch it, they're trying to figure out what it is. It's very simplistic. I heard the same comments last year on Kellen Moore. Kellen Moore, by the way, is now the Saints head coach. And Kevin Patullo, the rookie OC, who was the pass game coordinator before this, Kevin, they're running Nick Sirianni's scheme. This is the 5th year. It's not a great scheme. It doesn't get guys open. The best schemes in the National Football League scheme guys open. They have trouble consistently getting guys open, and also getting Hurts off to a good start. So I was talking to a coach from another team this week about this. I said, "Hey, I want to talk about Philly this time. What are your thoughts on?" And I gave him what I knew. And he goes, "Look, man, when you have a quarterback that's holding onto the football," and Kevin, I told you that on Friday's show on Game Time Decisions, that's a big problem. Yeah. I said to this guy, I said, "Hey, how would you handle this when your quarterback keeps holding on the ball? I said, what's this supposed to be on a 3, 5, and 7-step drop?" And he gave me the seconds. I said, "Oh, he's way over that." He goes, "I'm going to make it so easy for him. He's going to have to get rid of the football. Like, he knows he doesn't have any choice." You want to get the guy very comfortable early in the progression, early in the game. And that's where you asked me off the air, who else is culpable in this issue with the passing game? The coaches. Absolutely. Yeah. It's not just all on Hurts. The coaches have to take some responsibility here. Good coaches and good coaching understands how to help your quarterback. I'm not saying Hurts is, in terms of a passer, is top 5, but the guy's been a Super Bowl winner. His best game as a professional was the Super Bowl that they lost against the Chiefs in 22. He's phenomenal. But that offense, Kevin, has been figured out. And to me, you can't change. In fact, I know you cannot change an offense in season. But this is why, on your question and the way you set this up, Sirianni's been asked about it. Patullo's been asked about it repeatedly because he speaks to the media every Tuesday. Yeah. A.J. Brown was asked about it today. He was asked about, does he notice stats and what's going on with other receivers? He said, "I don't want to talk about it. There's a time and a place for it. It would make me mad if I had to talk about it." You and I have talked about A.J. Brown and his struggles about getting the football. He's bothered by it. He wants to be a part of it, and he's not the way that he should be. And that's the bottom line.
Yeah, there's so much there. I saw a piece of an A.J. Brown clip today where I guess he was asked, is he still the same player? And he said, well, I guess Saquon's not the same player. So this is this weird stuff, Cap, but I think both are true this season. I don't think A.J. Brown's looked the same guy. A.J. Brown does not look open. A.J. Brown is incredible at catching contested footballs. He does not look open. Saquon Barkley does he look as spry to you this year as he did last year? So to me, again, it's a lot of deflection. It's a lot of blaming. And I think it is this thing, though, where, Cap, to me at least, things don't have to look great, right? But it's always the job of you and I to discuss what looks good, what doesn't, right? It can be the job then of people to report, hey, there's some issues here. I do still come back to the fact that it's never copacetic, right? This is the consistent thing now around this team. And I heard someone, Adam, bring up this, what is Nick Sirianni then supposed to be, right? He doesn't call the plays.
It's a scheme. Go ahead.
But my point, doesn't he have to get some of this under control? Because isn't it now break and contain a little bit? Things, I think, Cap, seem more tense than they did last year.
Well, first of all, they're not running the ball well. Okay, that's the first problem. Why are they not running the ball well? Could you talk about Barkley? He's not quite himself this year.
Yeah.
But let's go left to right. Jordan Mailata, or left tackle, not playing quite as well as he usually does. Left guard, Landon Dickerson is coming off.
Oh, we lost Kaplan there. I thought that was a smooth little pause there. That's a shame. I hope we can get him back before the segment ends. If not, we will get Cap back undoubtedly this Sunday when we are on Pro Football Today. We'll see if we can piece that together. I will pick up where we left off as far as the Eagles and the conversation. I want to get some thoughts from Mike Blewett, who's entirely on the outside of it, if you will. For the Philadelphia Eagles right now, it feels as if we could say this. Nobody is walking around with an A-plus report card, and everybody is to think, hey, it's this guy's fault, it's this guy's fault, it's this guy's fault, it's this guy's fault, right? And that's kind of where we are. I think we have Cap back again. Cap, we only have about a minute or so left. I know we'll get into a lot more of this on Sunday, but I want to just get it back to you.
Yeah, no, I listen, everyone's got a piece of this. I'm just telling you. I heard what you were talking about with Sirianni. Again, it's his scheme. And by the way, 2 years ago, we need to mention this. Things between Sirianni and Hurts were not good, okay?
Yeah.
I wasn't the only one who knew about this. There was some reporting on it. I could tell you what I knew. They were not on the same page. Brian Johnson, the offense coordinator, got in the middle of it. He was fired. Kevin Patullo is very close to Sirianni. They work together with the Colts. They're very close friends. Nick, because he got his extension when a Super Bowl, was allowed to get his own coordinator, where he knew 2 years ago there was no way he was coming back with the same staff, and he had to make changes. So this is a situation to watch. Now, they're pretty healthy. They're 8-2. They have the tiebreaker over the Rams. They're sitting pretty here, but 2 years ago they imploded here. But they're healthy now. They weren't healthy 2 years ago, and there were some issues that I talked about with the quarterback and the head coach. But they're a fascinating team because they don't win easy. Let's put it that way, my friend.
No, they do not, but they do win. Kat, we appreciate it as always. We will check it again on Sunday. We will be heading to the world of soccer next right here. It is Game Time Decisions live on SportsGrid.
Ashton Genty has been hit behind the line of scrimmage more than any player in the National Football League. Yep. So you just gave him the ball in the end zone. Do the math. How's that going to work out?
It's like what I said earlier.
He got hit behind the line of scrimmage. He got tackled in the end zone.
Yeah.
Oh, they're terrible. But the thing is, Brady, you draft offensive linemen before you draft a star running back. Like they went backwards.
In-game live, only on SportsGrid.
When I think of the European tour, these are the players I'm thinking of, right? So I understand why that they would be so frustrated by all this, but they also know that there are rules in place that, from a competitive standpoint, that if you're a member of this tour, like, you can't go join a rival tour. Like, there's rules in place, just like in any other business.
The Smiley Show, only on SportsGrid.
The Green Bay area and the Philadelphia area, you would get it on ABC normally.
Yes.
But they didn't have ABC, so they couldn't get it locally.
Yeah, it just, you have to ask the question, like, nobody wants to hear from Bob Iger during the Monday night game when 10 million people are blacked out from watching the game, and you not ask him about when the blackout's going to end.
The Craig Carton Show, only on SportsGrid.
The 35 cents, though, for yes on Ohio State.
Yeah.
I like that, Donnie. I think there's value in that right now because we only got, 3 weeks left to go. Then we'll have conference championships. Yeah, the more they keep winning, and they will win, the more that will increase, and that's a pretty good return on an investment there with Kalshi.
The Early Line, only on SportsGrid.
Game Time Decisions live on a Thursday night still. Counting down kickoff between the Houston Texans and the Buffalo Bills on Thursday Night Football. We will get to that a little bit more in just a couple of moments here, but it is not the only Thursday Night Football you can get involved with. We've got our guy Marcelino Ortiz with us. As always, Marcelino, great to check in.
How are you, my friends? Greetings from the Latin Nation Football Club studio right here in Los Angeles, California. We're very excited because this weekend is full of football. But today, my friend, just in a few minutes, we have one of the top games of Liga MX. Right now, we're in the play-in where these 4 teams are trying to get the last 2 spots on the Liguilla. And we also talk a little bit about MLS and the heavy weekend of soccer that we're going to have.
Yeah, so before we get over to the MLS, tell me about some of the action then that's going over tonight in Mexico. 2 pretty exciting games.
Indeed, we have one of my favorite teams in history, Pumas, fighting to get that one last spot. They are going against Pachuca, one of the biggest, most rich teams in Liga MX, but they are in disarray right now. Their coach, Jaime Lozano, a former Pumas player, has just been fired right in the middle of the playoffs, which is very unusual. But that was the situation with this team, a team that is not necessarily firing in all cylinders. And that's why I'm backing Pumas. Pumas will go. They are not the favorite on the odds, but I believe that they have the momentum after their last 2 games. Where are they going to get this game? I believe Carrasquilla is the player that you want to put some individual bets behind for him to score and also to assist. I think Pumas will score in the 2 halves and will go on the over on goals on this game.
I am really excited to get a little bit of an idea of what we're going to see over there. But I will say, Marcelino, you've also done a great job, I think, getting us excited to follow these MLS playoffs. And there's a lot of really talented clubs that have advanced into this next round. And Saturday, we get into that portion of it with a proud club. I know you're invested, LAFC, against a rising club in Vancouver. What are you expecting here for that first leg, which is in Vancouver?
This is going to be high octane because let me remind you guys, just like everything in MLS, it is weird. This is a single elimination game. There is no 2 legs on this instance of playoffs in MLS. So LAFC has to go in one single game and win it. This, believe it or not, favors the black and gold. The pressure is on Vancouver. They have the better record. They have, in paper, the home advantage. But on the other side, you have Buanga and Son. I would not bet against that type of firepower. Now, individual bets, I will say Son to score, Buanga to score, and Gerard Mueller to score on Vancouver. Both teams to score is a good bet on this one, and definitely go on the over on goals because this is going to be a high-firing affair, my friend. There's going to be a lot of goals, especially in the first half, because both teams want to go and finish this as quickly as possible.
And then on Sunday, Marcelino, we get the main event, which is whenever Messi takes the pitch in that Inter Miami kit, and he does so against FC Cincinnati. They do it on the road, though. What are you expecting from this one?
This might be a heartbreak. Everyone that is betting their money on Miami and Messi might get a rude awakening. Let's remember this. Messi is yet to score against Cincinnati. Cincinnati is a team that Miami has not been able to dominate. My money this time is with Cincinnati. They don't have the pressure. They don't lose anything if they don't advance. In the other side, Miami needs this. Messi needs this. Miami needs this. And so the pressure is on them. And the back line is not as solid as they need to be. So Cincinnati, I think, is the one to go with this.
Marcelino, can I ask you about that Monday match? I feel as if we haven't talked a ton about either Minnesota or San Diego, but obviously here with good reason. Do you have any early thoughts on that one? I know it's a little far out, but still interesting.
Yes, for this game, it's all about San Diego. Minnesota is a great team. They have, for many, many years been at the forefront of the Western Conference. They have eliminated many of the top teams in the West. But right now, San Diego is just playing at a different level. They're an expansion team. It's their first season, and they are looking to finish it off in a historical manner, being one of 2 teams to win the MLS Cup in their first season. The last one to do so was Chicago Fire with Bob Bradley as a coach about 10, 12 years ago. So San Diego is a dangerous team. Chucky Lozano and Breyer are some of the most effective forwards. So my money is with San Diego on that one.
Awesome. I can't wait to watch all this play out. Marcelino, we appreciate you so much. Make sure you guys check out everything they've got going on over at Latin Nation Football Club. They do a fantastic job. We've got Mike Blue joining us next right here on SportsGrid.
Ashton Genty has been hit behind the line of scrimmage more than any player in the National Football League.
Yep.
So you just gave him the ball in the end zone. Do the math. How's that going to work out?
It's like what I
He
said
got hit
earlier.
behind the line of scrimmage. He got tackled in the end zone.
Line. Yeah.
Oh, they're terrible. But the thing
No
is,
surprise.
Brady, you draft offensive linemen before you draft a star running back. Like they went backwards.
In-game live, only on SportsGrid.
When I think of the European tour, these are the players I'm thinking of, right? So I understand why that they would be so frustrated by all this, but they also know that there are rules in place that, from a competitive standpoint, that if you're a member of this tour, like, you can't go join a rival tour. Like, there's rules in place, just like in any other business.
The Smiley Show, only on SportsGrid.
The Green Bay area and the Philadelphia area, you would get on ABC normally.
Yes.
But they didn't have ABC, so they couldn't get it locally.
Yeah, it just, you have to ask the question, like, nobody wants to hear from Bob Iger during the Monday night game when 10 million people are blacked out from watching the game, and you not ask him about when the blackout's going to end.
The Craig Carton Show, only on SportsGrid.
The 35 cents, though, for yes on Ohio State.
Yeah.
I like that, Donnie. I think there's value in that right now because we only got, 3 weeks left to go. Then we'll have conference championships. Yeah, the more they keep winning, and they will win, the more that will increase, and that's a pretty good return on an investment there with Kalshi.
The Early Line, only on SportsGrid.
All right, here we go, folks. It is that time once again on a Thursday to bring in our guy, Mike Blewett. You can catch Mike leading our Sunday NFL coverage beginning at 1 o'clock in-game live. And, Mike, there are a number of interesting games that we will discuss at 1 that you will be breaking down. We will be discussing the Philadelphia Eagles, but at risk of people being like, they're only talking Eagles. Kevin's an Eagle fan, and let's be honest, maybe it's because they're the defending champs, favorites, and they're a mess, and it's not because of who I root for, and I'd actually rather not talk about all this nonsense. But to make sure that doesn't happen, Mike, Bills-Texans, 5.5-point line. We've not done best bets yet on this show, so I've been waiting a little bit here for you, Mike, to tell people what we like, get your thoughts on it. I want to frame this game in a certain way, but I want to start with where you are at for an exciting matchup in the AFC.
I can't say I ever have liked a 5.5-point line. It's always the line that has you wondering, like, which way is the public going on this? Does the book really have a sense of which way this is going to go? These short weeks on the road are tough for any team, and the Bills had a sort of typical for them, but atypical for a lot of teams. They played terribly at the start. It looked like a Josh Allen blow-up game that he has limited for the last couple of seasons. And then, oh, by the way, he scores 6 touchdowns and they win going away. So it's sort of hard to figure out what they're going to look like coming into this week, now traveling a short week on the road. But again, we're dealing with Davis Mills. I thought he played well a couple of weeks ago in relief of Stroud, but now coming off a Titans performance that was really poor offensively. I just don't know. The Bills' defense isn't somebody that we can trust, but they did get Baker into tough spots. They did force a key turnover in that game. I think they're going to put Davis Mills on his heels. I expect it to be a low-scoring game, though, at 44.5. I don't like betting Bills unders, but on this Thursday night, we've seen a bunch of primetime unders recently. I'll lead with that. So at 5.5, I'm struggling to take the Bills if I expect it to be a lower scoring game. But I also don't find a way in which the Texans can win.
So I agree. What I want to do is give everyone else's best bets, and then I want to frame this game for mine and see if Mike finds it to be fair. AJ, though, got a shout out to him. Goes to the association. No interest in this one. You got to respect it. Hawks money line going up against the San Antonio Spurs. Little love for Jalen Johnson and the gang. Sam Yarnell. This is right from the Mike Blewett playbook. Davis Mills interception. I believe Mike would want me to follow that with the "you're welcome," because I think that's what we're all thinking when we see it. Chris with a back to the roots special. 4 receptions parlayed with Collins for 60 receiving yards. I got to tell you this. The chakras are aligning for Koski. I don't know if it's going to work out, but I know the vibes are high. Plus 123. Chris had a really tough controversy with his 1 millionth bonus bet not being delivered to him in good fashion. So it was nice to see his spirits lifted throughout the day. Are you laying the 5.5 with the Buffalo Bills? Mike, I want to frame it. Biggest quarterback gaps entering a game this season. There are a number of them that stood out to me. You could perhaps push back on some. Maybe the recall will say, hey, I'm missing 1 or 2. But I think these all felt in frame. Josh Allen versus Justin Fields. Josh Allen versus Spencer Rattler. Lamar versus Dylan Gabriel. Matthew Stafford versus Cam Ward and Cooper Rush. Drake May. That Patriots schedule is an abomination. I know we all knew it was going to be easy. I don't know what's going on here. They're playing FCS teams. They got South Dakota State next week after the bye. Cam Ward, Dylan Gabriel, Justin Fields. Here is what every single one of these games has in common. A touchdown or better margin of victory. In fact, only one of these games was not double digits in favor of the significantly better quarterback. Mike, am I wrong to go with what is almost a caveman-esque approach? Josh Allen's the quarterback of one team. Davis Mills is the quarterback of the other. It's a touchdown win for Buffalo.
I can't argue really with that logic. I would, though, posit that, again, Thursday night game on the road, the Texans defense is tough, probably tougher than any of the teams that you've listed whose quarterbacks were subpar. The Ravens week with Cooper Rush, they had a bunch of guys out. So that was maybe a defense that struggled quite a bit with injuries, maybe improving over time. I can't call it a caveman-esque approach. I don't think the Texans are going to win tonight. So what are we arguing? That the Bills win by 4 instead of 5 instead of 6? Like we're talking about a win in the margins. Sam Yarnell definitely out of the Mike Blewett playbook. I'm in on an interception for Mills. I figure they'll be trailing. He's generally careful with the ball, though. You know, I know a lot of people are on Shedeur Sanders throwing an interception, and I like it, but you have to pay a lot more for that on Sunday than you will for that tonight. So minus 122, a good one. I can't argue with the Bills bet. I'm going to lean towards the under, though, because I don't think the Texans will help you get there. I guess sort of siding with you on Davis Mills maybe having a tough night.
Yeah, I will add just kind of, on top of the – you're absolutely right, Mike, that none of these teams have a Texans-level defense. So what I will add in is I believe these finished 5-2-1 against the spread. Making Drake against Justin Fields and the Jets, I think you can call that a push. You actually could certainly call it a cover. There were a number of 12.5s out there. The non-covers – Josh laying, I almost think it was 12.5. Maybe it was 14.5. I don't know. It was a lot to Rattler and the Saints. And then this past week, Lamar against the Browns did not cover. Now, again, that would be the, hey, look at the defense situation. And, there's a Thursday night game in the mix here. But I think quarterback play in this league determines so much of everything, right? We know that. Again, we're going to get to the Eagles, stuff in a minute. But it's why people won't give up on Kansas City, Baltimore. Josh Allen is coming off of a 6 total touchdown game. It is one of 2 games in the history of the league where a quarterback ran for 3 and threw for 3 in a single game. The other also belongs to Josh Allen. Davis Mills has 6 total touchdowns in his last 3 years in the NFL. I don't think I'm being unfair. I don't think I'm being unfair to look at this gap, Mike, and think it's Josh Allen by a gazillion. I like, the Bills' defense is not good. Neither is Davis Mills. And I will add this. The 2 Davis Mills games, because I think people are like, oh, he's been solid. They were getting destroyed by the Jaguars, 29-10. That Jags team is a weird team, and they made do, and they came back. Beating the Titans 16-13, transitive property, that's a 20-point loss. That is a 20-point loss to need a walk-off field goal to be the Tennessee Titans. So that's where I'm sitting on it, Mike. Also, I'll add this. The Texans making the playoffs is a bit of a long shot. Buffalo needs this game a lot more. The Bills need the win here to keep pace with the Pats to have any chance to win that division.
Definitely true for that, but do or die game for the Texans. If you're going to be fair,
yeah,
they have to win this. They can't really afford to drop games like this. They probably have to sweep most of the rest of their games, if not all of them, to make the playoffs. So yeah, it's a big game for both. Again, we're talking about Josh Allen and the frequency with which he scores touchdowns. It's only minus 125 an anytime touchdown for Josh Allen.
Yeah,
that feels light. I mean, he's money to get in the end zone.
Yeah, it's that time of year again for Josh Allen is really what it comes down to. We'll be right back. Game Time Decisions on SportsGrid.
Ashton Genty has been hit behind the line of scrimmage more than any player in the National Football League. Yep. So you just gave him the ball in the end zone. Do the math. How's that going to work out?
It's like what I said earlier.
He got hit behind the line of scrimmage. He got tackled in the end zone.
Yeah.
Oh, they're terrible. But the thing is, Brady, you draft offensive linemen before you draft a star running back. Like they went backwards.
In-game live only on SportsGrid.
When I think of the European tour, these are the players I'm thinking of, right? So I understand why that they would be so frustrated by all this, but they also know that there are rules in place that, from a competitive standpoint, that if you're a member of this tour, like, you can't go join a rival tour. Like, there's rules in place, just like in any other business.
The Smiley Show, only on SportsGrid.
The Green Bay area and the Philadelphia area, you would get it on ABC normally.
Yes.
But they didn't have ABC, so they couldn't get it locally.
Yeah, it just, you have to ask the question, like, nobody wants to hear from Bob Iger during the Monday night game when 10 million people are blacked out from watching the game, and you not ask him about when the blackout's going to end.
The Craig Carton Show, only on SportsGrid.
The 35 cents, though, for yes on Ohio State.
Yeah.
I like that, Donnie. I think there's value in that right now because we only got, 3 weeks left to go. Then we'll have conference championships. Yeah, the more they keep winning, and they will win, the more that will increase, and that's a pretty good return on an investment there with Kalshi.
The Early Line, only on SportsGrid.
All right, let's do it. The Philadelphia Eagles, the most unique, nonsensical 8-2 team who made me question my fandom, and I haven't admitted that until this moment, 48 hours ago. Nonsense thing I've ever seen in my entire life. Mike, I don't want to color this in any way for you. Our audience doesn't need me to set up the details. You don't need me to set up the details. What is your current take on the status of the Philadelphia Eagles?
You know, they've been dealing with this for a while, and winning is a big deodorant. I've heard that phrase a lot recently. And we saw this last year a little bit during the season. People wondering early on during the year. I think they were they had lost a game early, and people were there's a lot of chatter about Sirianni and Hurts. Do they get along? What's the status of their relationship? And that was questioned. And then A.J. Brown reading a book on the sidelines later in the season when he wasn't getting the ball. Not to mention 2 years ago, I think they got off to a 10-1 start, Kev, and then they completely fell apart down the stretch. Yeah. So oddly, they've been dealing with this every year. And at some point, they'll hit a wall and it'll exhaust everybody in the building, and people will just start leaving one way or the other, by trade, by free agency, by firing. It'll happen at some point, but that's not where we are right now. And I think the thing that buoys them quite a bit is how dominant the defense has been. The offense is going to have to work through it. The offensive line isn't not as dominant as they were during the Super Bowl championship season, but I think it's important to note that this defense is still dominating good teams. The Packers, frankly, are a coin flip as to what their offense is going to look like from week to week, but the Lions aren't. They're not as good on the road, but they don't get dominated like they did last week. They made Jared Goff's life miserable. So there's a lot of chatter about the offense and who hates Jalen Hurts, but let's just look to the other side of the ball. How are they playing? Pretty damn good. So yeah. I don't have a reason to doubt the Eagles every week. The games are ugly. They're perhaps closer than they should be considering the relative talent, but the offense stinks right now. That's just the way it is. And the defense is really making up for it in a huge way. Now, Dak is awesome at home against NFC East opponents. Can we see a performance like he had on the road against the Raiders, against the Eagles? Unlikely. I just think the Eagles are going to be able to get after him. I do give the Cowboys a puncher's chance. I think their offense is really good, and Pickens and Lamb are both playing well, not suspended for a series. So I think this should be a really interesting game. I'd probably side with the Cowboys just because it's a hook, and I can't keep waiting. I've been waiting for the Eagles' offensive breakout, and there were a couple of games that were fine, but I can't keep waiting for it. I expect them to go on the road and get a win, but 3.5 is too much for me to lay when it's a divisional opponent that is very proficient offensively at home.
If they scored 38, would that be a breakout?
Yeah.
Well, they did the last game A.J. Brown missed, so honestly, maybe he should go home. I'm going to be honest with you, and Mike knows this. Some of it is how I'm wired. Some of it is I'm not older yet, so I've not been beaten down enough. This stuff drives me crazy. It does, because a lot of it is ridiculous. As we do these shows, you try and keep up to date with what's going on. Someone asks, hey, AJ, there's a report that players and, coaches are frustrated with Jalen Hurts. His response was, ask me about Dallas. So now he doesn't want to talk. Now he has nothing to say. It's just crazy. It is. And I'll add this one other thing, right? As there's reports now coming out about frustration and blame, just look at the two personalities that seemingly now we're kind of getting a lot of the finger pointing. Nick Sirianni, Jalen Hurts. You tell me which one is likely to put out their side of the story to cover their back. Because I think it's pretty obvious. And that's really what it is. It's not to say the people doing the reporting aren't being told the things that they're being said. What I'm saying is, until Pablo Torre has enough time on his hands to find out what's going on, be very careful with everything you hear around the Philadelphia Eagles. I will add this on the Dallas side. I've not bet this game yet. I will wait to see what I think. But this game to me is not about Philadelphia. This would be a huge win for the Dallas Cowboys, and therefore I have no reason to expect Dallas to get it. Dak Prescott has been atrocious this year. Every single opportunity he has had to step up for this team, he has failed them. He did so against the Bears when there was a ton of pressure because they were going to be 2-1 heading into the Green Bay game. There were no expectations for that Packers game. He stepped up. There was pressure when they went to Carolina because all of a sudden now they smoked the Jets. They tied with Green. Trash, awful, terrible. There was pressure going into the game against Denver. It was time to make a statement. They were awful, smashed, horrendous. Listen, we know the score on Dak. Everything's perfect. Nothing matters. he's perfect. It just doesn't matter. It's what. I'm sorry, it's harsh. It is a useless great season that he is giving, Mike. He has been perfect when things matter the least. Dak's been at his best this year. Is that unfair?
Nah, I think it's only thing that's unfair about it is that this defense was awful. If it wasn't for the Bengals defense and how bad they were, and maybe one or two others, people would recognize how horrendous Dallas's defense was. Getting a couple of guys back, they played better the other night. But historically, Dak's career, his record against winning teams, not good.
No.
He racks up big stats against teams that don't have winning records.
No, that is who Dak is to a T. What we are going to do after the break, we're going to have Mike stick with us here. There are 2 1 o'clock games I need some quick thoughts on. 1, panic and approach in Kansas City. 2, will Mike Blewett be covering a Joe Burrow game, which I cannot believe question 2 is on the board and trending towards yes. And then we will one final time re-rack for you not only our best bets here on this Thursday night, but our anytime touchdown scores. The touchdown jackpot play is back. Feel like it's been a strong suit for this show a little bit. Let's try and get another one into the end zone here after the commercial on Game Time Decision.
Ashton Genty has been hit behind the line of scrimmage more than any player in the National Football League.
Yep.
So you just gave him the ball in the end zone. Do the math. How's that going to work out?
It's like what I
He
said earlier.
got hit behind the line of scrimmage. He got tackled in the end zone.
Yeah.
Oh, they're terrible. But the thing is, Brady, you draft offensive linemen before you draft a star running back. Like they went backwards.
In-game live, only on SportsGrid.
When I think of the European tour, these are the players I'm thinking of, right? So I understand why that they would be so frustrated by all this, but they also know that there are rules in place that, from a competitive standpoint, that if you're a member of this tour, like, you can't go join a rival tour. Like, there's rules in place, just like in any other business.
The Smiley Show, only on SportsGrid.
The Green Bay area and the Philadelphia area, you would get it on ABC normally.
Yes.
But they didn't have ABC, so they couldn't get it locally.
Yeah, it just, you have to ask the question, like, nobody wants to hear from Bob Iger during the Monday night game when 10 million people are blacked out from watching the game, and you not ask him about when the blackout's going to end.
The Craig Carton Show, only on SportsGrid.
The 35 cents, though, for yes on Ohio State.
Yeah.
I like that, Donnie. I think there's value in that right now because we only got, 3 weeks left to go. Then we'll have conference championships. Yeah, the more they keep winning, and they will win, the more that will increase, and that's a pretty good return on an investment there with Kalshi.
The Early Line, only on SportsGrid.
Game time decisions on a Thursday night. Kevin Walsh joined by Mike Blewett. We will set you up for Thursday night football. Texans, Bills, which will be covered on In-Game Live, and you are in for a treat because Gabe Morency live during a Bills game is as good as it gets. That is all next right here on SportsGrid in 5 minutes' time. Before we get to the best bets, though, Mike, a couple of questions. I'll start with this. Panic in Kansas City, a loss here to the Colts. I think they go to a minus number to miss the playoffs. I think this will be the big one that you guys are following on In-Game Live this Sunday.
No doubt. It's a huge game. typically probably wouldn't even have it at 1 o'clock. We've had some interesting 1 o'clock games lately with a lot of ramifications, and this is one of them. I do like the Chiefs to get a home win. They've had a lot. Look, the offense is not what we expect it to be. This is the type of game, though, Kev, where I do have faith in Steve Spagnuolo and this Chiefs defense to make it difficult for Daniel Jones. They'll have to obviously stop Jonathan Taylor too, but I like the Chiefs to get a win here. 3.5 is a tricky number. Live betting opportunities. I think tonight's a good live betting opportunity. I think the Chiefs are an interesting live betting opportunity because is that going to be a wire-to-wire win for Mahomes and the Chiefs? They haven't really played like that this year except against the Raiders. So I think you can wait on that one, maybe even get the Chiefs at plus money on the money line at some point during that game.
Mike, you also potentially will be following a Joe Burrow game. Do you believe that will be the case? And have you had any time to react to the market's reaction, which is those 7.5s are long gone. We're seeing numbers as low as 5.5 now.
Yep. I think Burrow will play. They got a very difficult 4-game stretch coming up. I don't think you can let your backup quarterback go into it if you have any designs on trying to make the playoffs, which at 3-7 is a very long shot. But the only way you're going to do it is with Joe Burrow. It would be nice to also have your star wide receiver, but he's not going to be there. But I wouldn't send Flacco out there just to protect Joe Burrow. Yeah. If Burrow's ready to play, if he can go, then I think you put him out there. I think if he's trying to tough it out and prove how tough he is to his teammates, that's really up to the Bengals to decide. I think he's a very tough dude. Unfortunately, he suffered some really bad injuries during his career. I think they should play him. And if these first 2 games are blowouts, Kevin, they're 3-9, and they're not going to make it back, then you can shut him down then. But while hope is still alive, I think you put Burrow out there. These 4 games are brutal. They got the Ravens twice, the Bills, and the Patriots. Those are all teams that are in the playoff mix.
Mike, one interesting thing, we've been following the next coach fired market a little bit here on the show. Raheem Moore's trends is the favorite. Gannon, is in that mix. Am I crazy to think that Joe Burrow coming back saves Zach Taylor for the rest of the season in this way? It's not necessarily because, they're going to do a bunch of winning. It's that I now feel like they won't fire Burrow's coach in season. I don't think they will make Burrow quarterback for an interim in season. Does that line up to you?
Yeah, I think it does. I think it's absolutely a factor. If Zach Taylor has a strong voice in that building, of course he's going to bring Burrow back. We said this during the summer. This defense was going to be terrible. They fired the defensive coordinator thinking that was going to fix it. It's gotten worse. They didn't add anybody. Yeah. And they messed with their star defensive player contractually. And he's just going to leave whenever he can. So
Anarumo is doing great in Indianapolis. And that has some Chiefs fans a little worried. So, look, it's a mess. There's no denying that. Let's put some touchdowns on the board here for the people. I went back to my sweet spot, which is taking a minus money jackpot, even though I did actually get Justin Fields through the door last week. I like James Cook at minus 105 to score in this game, so that's what I'm going to play. Chrissy's on Shavers. Sam with a baby play. That's Shakir plus 260. New dad alert. Jaden Higgins for AJ. Mike, you like a touchdown in this game?
Yeah, I mean, everybody's too cool to bet Josh Allen. I guess I'm the square that's going to take it. Minus 125.
Hashtag you're welcome. Best bets here for this game tonight. And Hawks money line. Shout out AJ. Davis Mills to throw a pick. Shakir, 4 grabs, 60 receiving yards. I'm laying it with Buffalo. Minus 5.5. Josh Allen versus Davis Mills. Caveman style. That is one of the biggest quarterback gaps, if not the biggest, we have seen in a game this season. Mike Blewett, we appreciate it as always. You can catch Mike this Sunday, 1 o'clock during one of the most important stretches of football of the season. Gabe and Scott have you covered with Bills Texans next on SportsGrid.